Hey everyone, Randy from Lion Desk here. I have Kyle Draper from Agent Impress Me today. We're in Oklahoma, Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Go
Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about 3 things to look for when choosing a website provider. So if you're thinking about changing, finding a new website provider, Agent Impress Me is a good one. But the 3 things that you guys should look for when selecting a website provider. Kyle.
Number 1 is the IDX solution that you choose for your site.
Search.
That is obviously a big deal. I think so many realtors, they just know they need it. So they do nothing beyond, does my website have IDX? Oh, it does? Cool. Where do I sign? And they don't look at it. They don't play around with it. They don't look at it through the eyes of a potential buyer or seller. Like, what is that? How's that going to market their house, right? Like,
is it search responsive?
It's search responsive, right?
Yeah,
so that's a huge thing.
If you don't know what responsive is, it means it looks good on phone, tablet, turn it upside down, right? Whatever, it looks good anyway.
And if you don't know,
if you got to do this with your finger to find something on your website, you got the wrong website.
That's right. And if you didn't know that, then there's other things we need to also have a conversation about.
Certainly.
That you may be in the dark on.
Okay, so search is number 1. Number 2.
Number 2 is custom content. So there are tons of companies out there that feast on real estate agents to blog for them, to post for them, and it is the most canned stuff ever. It does nothing for their SEO. It does nothing for their sphere. It offers zero value of any sort. And so you want to have a website that you can easily navigate through the back end and create your own pages. Mm-hmm. Talk about the real estate going in and the shops going into that real estate and the restaurants in your town. Like, give people reason to come to that site aside from just there's houses here.
Original content. I see it all the time, man.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, people are like, I check out when I talk to clients or brokers or whomever, like, I'll check out their Facebook page, and like a lot of stuff, like, they buy a service that posts it, and like you're looking at a brokerage in Kansas City, and they're talking about the housing market in this blog in Vancouver. Like,
yeah,
like you need to have hyper local targeted content on your website. So even subdivision, right? Like, blog about, if you're going to do something like that, you can blog about a subdivision.
Yeah.
Be the local expert, and you will rank SEO that way.
No doubt.
You're not going to outpace Google and Trulia on the normal search.
Right.
But hyper local targeted stuff, I think it's really great.
And here's like a quick tip that I share with realtors, because most realtors will say, Randy, that's a great idea, but I'm not a writer, or I don't know how to. Sure. And so, number 1, that's just an excuse because you don't know it. So we're as humans, we're quick to create reasons why that's not for me.
Right.
So, but here's what I would say. If, like, do you have friends that you've ever spoken to? Right? Like, we all have friends that we speak with.
A couple.
Right? Like, at least one. Everybody has at least one friend. And so, like, your friends know your language.
Yes.
They know your voice. Your friends don't leave lunch with you and go, man, did you hear how many times Randy said or like? That's just not real life.
I'm super self-aware of it.
And so I would just tell realtors, like, just start.
Yes.
Because the people that know your voice will be engaged with your content because it's actually you.
Yeah.
So
we got search. We have the ability to create and curate and customize your own content and copy. And lastly, last thing to look for
is this: know your visitors. Like, okay, who's coming to my website? And then what are their needs? So we know in a real estate environment, most people showing up to that site are going to typically be buyers or soon to buy down the road. And so then we've got to look at what
buyers or sellers.
Or sellers.
Buyers or sellers.
Buyers or sellers. They're both very valuable.
Well,
right?
Buyers are sellers at some point, too.
That's right.
Like, people, they need to think about that. If this is a buyer, you put them on a long-term nurture campaign, right? You stay in touch with this person. This is going to be client for life, hopefully.
Yep. And so we have to ask ourselves this question. What does a buyer want? And we don't have to answer it because NAR already puts millions of dollars into research to acquire all of this data. Mm-hmm. And so they ask that question. Why did the buyer choose the house they chose to buy? And it were 6 things. And they were all centered around convenience, Friends and family. How close is it to work? What are the schools like? Can I find data about that? What's the neighborhood like? Are there videos about it? And so reverse engineer this, guys, and go to your website and go, okay, knowing what I now know, is any of the answers to these questions, are they available on my website? Or do they have to go elsewhere?
I didn't think of that, but yeah.
Because the moment they have to go elsewhere, you have become a little bit closer to irrelevant.
Yeah.
So those are the three things.
You got it. You heard it from the man himself, Kyle Draper. Agent impressed me.
That's right.
Hope you guys enjoyed, learned something. 3 things.
Yep.
Randy from Lion Desk. Have a great day.
See ya.